I'm
gonna
Yep,
say live.
it's live.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Conversations with Heath and Tracy.
Hi, guys.
We are here. We are here every Monday at 8 p.m. EST, as we are usually here every Monday.
Yeah, we're going to be here every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to discuss relationships, marriage, money, mindset.
Joyfully Married After with Heath and Tracy.
So ask us anything. We record our podcast during this time.
We do.
So we decide just to go live so that we can share it with you all so you can see just how the sausage is made, so to speak.
Hey, if you have a question for us, type it in the comments, whether it's to do with relationships or mindset questions, things about money in your marriage, you want to talk about other things, drop us a question.
We like to keep it positive, though. Let's keep that in mind.
Keep positivity on every Monday whenever we come live to you, so you know what it is.
How you doing? Is it Tiala? God bless you both. Oh, love from Canada. Okay, nice.
We appreciate you, Tiala.
We appreciate you.
We send the love
we send all the good vibes
right
Canada.
back to you. North of the border.
Today we are talking about don't give your boyfriend husband privileges and
white privileges.
No, don't give your girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of that.
All right, let's try that again. Our topic today is don't give your boyfriend husband privileges.
And don't give your girlfriend white privileges. How about that?
Right. Sounds good. See, baby, you're blocking the mic when you put
but it's cool, baby. They can still hear it over my head.
Let us know if you can hear us.
It's
I just want to make sure everybody can hear us. You know what I'm saying?
Sound check, mic check, 1 2 1
Your
2.
mic sounds nice.
They know what it is.
If this is your first time here, we want to say thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
My name is Heath.
And I'm Tracy.
Tracy and I are parents, podcasters, and joyfully married after 31 years. Yes, we are certified marriage counselors as well. We have 4 adult children. We know a little bit about a lot of things, right? We are corporate employees out here in this man's world.
Today felt like Tuesday to me.
It did? Why is that?
I don't know. I was all day.
Okay.
I was like, is it Tuesday? It didn't feel like a Monday to me.
Yeah. So outside of our content creation, Tracy and I work in the tech space. So
full time.
That's what she's alluding to. Hey, if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe to the channel. Tracy and I are bringing all kinds of cool relationship content to the channel every week. So make sure you subscribe and like, because we appreciate that. That's what's going on.
Walton boys, thank you for telling him that you love the gray beard.
Hey.
I have been trying to tell him. I think it's sexy. But man. I'm just his wife. So I appreciate that.
Look. When you're out here in the corporate game and you got 20-somethings running around all over the place, sometimes
you're a little intimidated.
You get a little self-conscious.
Yeah.
No, not intimidated.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stand corrected.
Just a little self-conscious, but I've reached that point in my life where it's just not a big deal, right? So that's what's going on. It's just free flowing out here post panorama.
If you're new here, if you've never seen any of our content before,
okay,
do a couple of things.
Okay.
Type new you in the comments.
New you.
Hit the like button. And if you like what you're hearing, subscribe.
Yes.
And binge watch.
And tell a friend.
And tell a friend,
Share
y'all.
the content.
Share the content out.
It's a lot of content to be shared.
So just so you know how this goes, we do our podcast while we're on the live.
Okay.
And while we're doing our podcast, we'll stop. After we've done it, we'll stop. And then we'll talk about it some more if you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So go ahead and throw your comments up there while we're podcasting. We won't stop till we're done. And then we'll talk about your comments.
Yeah.
So go ahead and throw the comments. Talk to one another. Everything. Be jovial, be nice in the comments, and we'll keep it like that. So we usually only keep our podcast around 20 minutes, so it's not too long. Or less. Or sometimes it's less, but we like them kind of quick. All right, so are you ready? He's not ready. You want to keep talking to me then?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
I know, but you want to keep talking to me? Like, get you ready?
So, what are we gonna? What's my intro gonna be? I got to figure out my
intro
right here.
It's right here. You see it? Are you giving boyfriend husband privileges? And then I can say, are you giving girlfriends wife privileges?
Okay, let's do that.
You want to do that?
Let's try that.
Okay.
Are you giving boyfriend husband privileges?
Or are you giving girlfriends wife privileges?
This is the Joyfully Married After podcast, episode 79.
Okay. I forgot to do our intro, though.
I thought that was the intro.
Let's do it again.
Okay, we back. We're going
to try that again.
Queen Tracy to throw the intro out there.
Let's try that again.
Get some things going.
Let's try it again,
Get it popping out here on this man's internet.
Okay. Here we go. You ready? Go.
What are we doing?
You didn't read your thing.
We're going to do the thing again?
No, we don't have to.
Is that what we're going to do?
No. We don't have to.
You don't want to read again?
No. What y'all think of that? I thought that was pretty good. The editor, he's not going to do anything but clip it. Thank you, Jacob.
So you want to get into the conversation?
Yeah, let's jump into it. So we bring this up because, especially now, because so many people are out here doing vacations and...
Vacations? Wow, that's a thing?
I mean, going...
Is it vacation and cohabitation?
I mean, going to these exotic locations with people they not married to.
Hey, people grown.
Am I judging?
Are you judging? You're just stating facts. You're not really judging.
Weird, y'all.
No, but you're not saying you feel a certain type of way about it.
No.
You're saying you're observing people's behaviors here.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Out here in 2022. And because you and I are advocates of marriage, we're not in the judgment business.
No.
We are not making any judgment on if people are living together, if they're doing vacations, if they're doing whatever it is. We are simply saying, hey, maybe if you want to be married, maybe some of these behaviors you may want to take another look at. And that's really what our conversation is about.
Yeah, let's get that straight, y'all. We are not talking to people who have no interest in getting married.
Correct.
If you don't want to get married, if you want to stay the auntie, if you want to stay single, if you want to stay the uncle, we're not talking to you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I got this straight.
Yeah, Tracy and I are advocates of marriage. We've been married for 31 years. We have been around the block a few times. We've had ups and downs in our marriage, and still today we are joyful. And so thus we have named our podcast Joyfully Married After.
Joyfully Married After.
And so because we are advocates of marriage, we want people to get married. We're a little selfish in that way. We think marriage is actually a good thing.
I think marriage is really good.
And so we create content around advocating people being married. If you look at it through that lens, our conversation this evening is not designed to bash anyone
not at all.
about any adult decisions that they are making or have made. Right? Truth be told, we lived together before we got married. We had a child
before we got married.
So we're not trying to say like, hey, we some choir boy and choir girl and saints, right? What we're saying is looking at it through the lens of marriage. Maybe if you want to be married, you want to go down the road of being married, you may want to give some thought to how you're conducting some of your affairs as the adult that you are.
Yeah, I think it's important to follow what is the intent I was looking at an article today, I think on Vlad TV. Vlad said something to, I think it was Bootsy, about Rihanna not being married.
Okay. Come on, Riri.
And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
so first of all, Rihanna's a billionaire.
Okay, Riri.
I'm sorry. Billionaire status, I
Uh-huh.
think she's going to be okay.
Okay.
Second of all, you don't know what their intentions are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is very important because, like we said, we weren't married before we had our first child,
Mm-hmm.
and we also lived together. Now, a lot of it was, first of all, I was surprised
Yep.
by our first pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
and we weren't sure we wanted to be. It was a mistake.
And we were in college.
It wasn't a mistake. It was an accident.
And we were in college.
We were in college.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were still being supported by our parents.
It's not like
it was a lot. It was a lot going on.
It's not like we 35 years old when this happened.
Yeah,
That's not
and
what
I
we're talking
decided to get pregnant.
That's not what we're talking
That's
about.
not what we're talking about here. So you
Right.
have to think about what is the intent
Mm-hmm.
behind the action. So when you look at someone like Rihanna,
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand you don't know what her intentions are. It's none of
Mhm.
our business.
Mm-hmm.
She's old enough. She's doing her life. Do I recommend it? No. But that's her. Let her be herself.
And you know, real talk, sometimes celebrities are secretly married and we just don't know it.
Okay.
That happens occasionally too.
Y'all know that. Y'all know what's going on there. You know. So I leave people like that alone. But
Mhm.
women out here that are making a conscious decision to
Mhm.
have a man's baby
Okay.
because they are ready for a child,
Mm-hmm.
or they have been with a man long enough,
Mhm.
or he wants a child.
Okay.
Think about that. That's a husband privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Having someone's baby
Mhm.
is a husband privilege.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that's a husband privilege is because there is an ongoing responsibility attached to that.
Mhm.
That as women, regular women, not
Mhm.
billionaire status women,
Right.
but regular women need support with.
Right.
So there are things to consider
Mhm.
when you are going to get pregnant in the real world
Yeah.
and not be married, and give a man husband privileges by having his child.
And of course, some men might say, "Well, I can afford to take care of my child."
But
It's
there's
like,
nothing that holds you to that status.
I don't run for my responsibility.
I don't know
blah,
what
blah,
you're
blah.
going to do. Let's just keep it real. I don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a boyfriend, you can do what you want to do. Let's just keep it real.
Okay.
So you have to think about what is the purpose of the relationship? What is
Yep.
the intent of the relationship?
Absolutely.
So that's how you consider if you're giving someone privilege or not. So when we talk about privileges, and the third thing is, what are we moving toward? So
Right.
that's the other thing you want to have under consideration when you talk about giving privileges to somebody. So when I say privileges, what are we talking about? We're not just talking about sex.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about sleeping in the same bed every night.
Mhm.
That's not what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about paying their bills,
Yeah.
letting them use your car,
Mhm.
living in your home,
Mhm.
cooking for them on a regular basis, giving them money,
Yeah.
expecting their, taking care of their children,
You're doing all the things married people do.
meeting certain friends and family,
May as
taking
well-
exotic trips,
You may as well get married.
buying houses.
You may as well get married.
Because there's certain protections that come with that
The-
marriage.
The protections are built in, right?
The
So there's
protections are built
the
in.
legal components, and there are a number of other things where the woman can be more protected. The man feels better about scenarios. Some men might argue that it locks them in, and the penal system is more stringent around going after men when they have these kinds of scenarios, and so
Sour grapes.
So people come up with a lot of conversations around these things as to why they're not married.
Yeah, if men were being robbed so badly out
Mhm,
here,
mhm.
there wouldn't be so many single mothers in poverty.
Yeah, and I think part of
So-
that goes back to the intention that you touched on earlier, baby. Right?
What's
It's
that?
like when two people are together or they're on the same note, right?
Yeah.
They're moving in intention about one another and what the direction that they're going. Then you see that those people end up connecting and getting married because they are both in lockstep with what the intention of the relationship is.
Yeah, they have certain things that similar.
Mhm.
A lot of people go, I have to know what it's like before that's why we
Mhm.
got to move in together. No, you don't. Are they clean? Do they keep their place clean? Do they cook for themselves? Do they take care of themselves physically?
Right.
And I don't mean are they skinny. I mean, do they go to the doctor? Do they go to the dentist?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The simple things. Are you ready for marriage? When I walk in your bedroom, can I see the floor?
Nice.
Does it smell nice?
Yes.
You know, is your bathroom clean? You know, can you cook a meal? Do you have to eat out all the time?
Right.
You know, are you considerate of one another? Do we have cultural similarities? Do we have familiar similarities? Do we have financial similarities?
You talking about all the questions.
People don't even ask this anymore.
You getting all the questions answered, Miss Tracy.
I'm getting them answered. Right? And I think a lot of people move in and do all these things, give these people spousal privileges out of fear. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think fear has a lot to do with it, right? Sometimes it's FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, especially in the world of social media and interconnectivity that we have today, right? You're always looking at IG and whatever else it is, and you're thinking to yourself, man, look at this person.
They don't look like that.
Look at that person.
They don't look like that either.
She really looks like she has it together.
No, they don't.
Oh man, look how great she looks.
Look at them in person.
And so what happens is that you get set up on this. Oh, maybe someone's prettier. Maybe someone has an inch smaller waist. Maybe someone has some features that you like better, maybe slightly than this other person. So you're always like chasing this elusive thing that doesn't really exist.
Right.
So I think FOMO is a big piece of what we see today. And I think the another component is what we talked about earlier, where people have a fear of the court system. Okay, I heard about this guy who got married and they, it went sideways and they had a baby and the wife divorced him and she took half of his stuff and now he's struggling. And so now you get into, some of those kinds of conversations, right?
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that men expect women who they're not married to, they expect them to be wifely. I see a lot of it on social media. I don't,
Oh, wifey. Yeah, me and wifey, me and bae, we're going to do X, Y, and Z.
No, they like, if a girl or a woman doesn't do certain things for them, they're like, oh, she's not wife material. It's like, no, she's not a wife.
She's not your wife.
She's not your wife, and she's not a wife. Like Heath and I talked about this. I wasn't a wife until I got married.
Right.
Were you a husband?
Yeah, I think a lot of it. I think that's a great point that you're making, there, baby. Right? Some of that comes into mental commitment. And when you make a commitment towards a woman and you lock that woman in, right? You put a ring on it, you do all the things.
She then becomes a wife. It's very weird.
There's going to be some type of synapses happening in that brain, right? Something is going to change inside of her where she all of a sudden will be doing that homework of, how do I need to be better? How do I need to be more wifely? Do I need to engage with auntie or my mom or get some wise counsel around some of these kinds of things that are going to be very important when I get married? And so something changes then, but until you get to that point.
I think it's interesting to point out that when men provide certain services, that women become that woman. They become that wife. And my husband told me a story this week about somebody he knew that got a new job, got a higher pay, broke the news to his working wife with 2 little kids. Oh, we have to move because I got this great job. But good news is you're not going to have to work. So what happened in their marriage?
Well, I think in this particular scenario, it was amazing through the lens of the husband that he thought that the wife would get bored, that they would get to the new place, the new situation, the new location.
She wouldn't like the new town.
And that it would, she would wouldn't want to take care of the kids full time, or that she wouldn't want to be sort of a homemaker full time or what have you. And he has been pleasantly surprised that it's been the opposite.
Because he's been acting like a husband.
Yeah.
What's been happening?
He said the house is on point. The kids are on point. They're being schooled at home. The wife is happy. The wife is happier. The wife is more amorous.
He getting laid more, y'all. It's just what happens.
So there's a lot of goodness.
Just what happens.
There's a lot of goodness happening.
When he acts like a husband or is a husband, then she'll act like a wife, not before. So don't start giving up those privileges beforehand, right? And like I said, there are other ways to see if someone's ready for marriage, right? Like I said, what does their home look like? Are they taking care of themselves?
Yeah, those are great.
Physical intimacy is too high on the list.
Physical
That's another
intimacy?
thing. I think it's too high on the list.
Mm-hmm.
People
What do you mean
want
by that?
They want. Oh, are we compatible? Does he
Mhm.
know how to lay it down? Does she
Mhm.
know how to? You know what?
Okay.
And I think people lose sight
Mhm.
of what is really important
Mhm.
when they just focus on that thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They lose focus on, are we compatible? Does he laugh at my jokes?
Yeah.
Does she think I'm funny?
Mm-hmm.
You know, does she respect what I do for work?
Yeah.
Do we have the same belief systems?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have the same belief systems around money? Do we have the same familiar history or experiences or understanding? What do we have in common other than what happens in the bedroom?
Yeah, I think that when people lock in, right, when you have those emotional connections, if you spend time getting to know people, then a lot of those physical things will take care of themselves. But I get it, right. People are trying to say, hey, this is something that's really important to me. I've got to make sure that we're compatible, that you do things the way that I like it, or that you're exploratory, or that whatever it is that you think. And so I've seen both sides of this, but I think the most important piece is the connectivity mentally. And when you have that, all of the other things flow.
It flows. It
Yeah.
really flows. And I know a lot of people don't believe it. And somebody you're with for one night, they might have just had an off night, y'all. You don't know. You talk to one person, you say, oh, everything was great. You talk to another person, say, oh my God, it was horrible. So you have to understand that everything, especially with women, has to be connected for that to work right.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other thing is the person you're dealing with, are they acting like a husband? And if they're not acting like a husband, there's no reason for you to act like a wife.
I want to double click on this connectivity for a moment,
Sure.
Tracy, because you just prompted something in my brain, right? It's one of those things like my own personality, my own sense of humor. Like, me extremely well.
Yes.
And I'm pretty corny.
I love it though.
Right. This is the point that I'm making. The corny jokes, the dad jokes, the whatever it is, like, I've been this way for a very long time. And you dig it. You dig it because we are connected in a different way.
Well,
we spent time talking,
Yeah.
getting to know one another, understanding goals and visions.
Yeah,
we
all
talked
of that,
about
all of that.
our familial past
Yep.
and similarities and connectivities, and like we did a ton. Even though we had a whirlwind courtship, we did a ton of getting to know each other.
We did.
At the early part of our relationship. And because of that, I think that those other things clicked very well.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to use the example of when you are connected with someone in that mental space, then how those other things just flow. And even something as corny as someone's sense of humor, you get it and it makes you laugh because you're into that person.
Yeah. Well, not only am I into that person, but my understanding of someone that tells corny jokes and keeps it moving is a confidence factor. It's like, oh my gosh, that was not that funny, but it was funny to me, but he doesn't care. It's like, it's a confidence factor. And confidence is what is attractive. And confidence is what gives me that funny feeling.
So you're saying that you appreciate it. You appreciated it regardless because the confidence that I was exuding was like, hey, I just brought some levity to this conversation. I cracked myself up. Hopefully you got some humor out of it. And if you didn't, it's fine because I'm laughing, right?
It's confidence.
I'm not so wound up in life where I got to be serious all the time and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so you were digging.
Water off a duck's back. Cool. The cool factor.
Right.
Is very sexy to me. People look at it differently, but you have to speak to someone that is confident in themselves when other people there aren't a lot of confident men around here. That's why they're trying to be alpha males. That's why they're trying to get you to submit. That's why they're trying to get all, I'm using the key words, because they have to. That is their confirmation that they are He-Man. And men who don't feel that way, that don't treat you that way, that don't act that way, are, to me, high value men because they don't need to.
Now, let me say something about that, right? So I know a lot of alpha males in my
I
experience.
really wish you would stop using that terminology.
That was the word that you just.
I am mocking every single one of you that calls yourself an alpha male.
Okay, so here's the point.
There is no such thing as an alpha male, nor is there such thing as a female that is alpha. Now, a lot of people look at us and say, "I'm the alpha and he's the beta." That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I am more direct. Okay, and I'm gonna come for you more. I'm more outspoken. It has nothing to do. The alpha, it changes. The situation changes as to who is alpha and who is beta.
Right.
And if you really know wolves in a pack, the alpha is in the rear. Okay, stop talking about stuff y'all don't know.
So the point that I was gonna make was that a lot of men that project very strongly also can be very empathetic. And I think the ones that you're calling out is the ones who are just really leaning into the masculinity and not really bringing that well-roundedness.
What are they bringing other than irritation?
Well, that's the point that I'm making, right? It's so, it's the irritation or the masculinity of, and that's the only component that you see of their personality.
Yeah.
Whereas when you have an emotional intelligence and you can see all sides of the person, especially the empathetic component when it comes to relationship, I think that's the component that they're missing.
Yeah, exactly.
At least in their content creation.
Right. Another point we want to make is having a child does not a marriage make. Having a child does not make you a husband. And having a child does not make you a wife. It's not going to speed it up, and it's not going to validate the relationship. It's not going to confirm the relationship. You just very simply had a child with another person that may or may not have long-term interest in you or that child.
Yeah, it's not just
so
about
don't
the
make
child.
that mistake of thinking that a child is going to solidify anything, is going to get you to the next step. None of that is true. None of that. Okay.
It's not just about the child, it's about the relationship.
Right. And what qualities do you want in your spouse?
Yeah.
You have to tell somebody that. I want to be married. Why are you dating? Why are you out here in this covetry dating people that you don't know, meeting people online that you don't know? People are literally dying by meeting other people. What's going on with you? What are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for marriage. What are you looking for? You have to vocalize that. You have to say that. You have to let the other person know what I'm here for.
You're going to run the folk away. As soon as you get started seeing them, you're going to run them away. I'm looking for marriage.
Bye. If you aren't, bye.
And I think the point there is.
Didn't I tell you when we were serious?
I'm sure you did. I think the point there is that people that have a maturity and an emotional intelligence about what it is that they're doing, if they're digging you, if they're into you, just because the M word comes out of your mouth, they don't take off running.
No.
They're like, okay, cool. I'm glad you let me know that. Right? And so now it can set the intention of the relationship where you, to Queen Tracy's point, have vocalized and voiced the things that you're interested in. And so if I'm the other party and I'm also interested in you,
right,
maybe I'm looking at this relationship very differently than had that not come up, right? And so now I'm very intentional, I'm very focused, I'm very understanding of like, we're trying to take this somewhere.
Right.
And so we're evaluating one another, we're asking these questions, we're talking about these things, we're moving with purpose, and now it's going in a certain direction where we both are in agreement.
That's a key word. We're both in agreement. Just like if you do sleep with someone and you decide, that was nice and everything, but I don't think I want to continue that. Ladies, don't continue it. Ghost him, lose the number, tell him why if you're nice enough or whatever, but don't continue to perpetuate the nothingness of sleeping with someone just because you slept with them one time. If you slept with somebody one time, you're like, I'm not feeling him. Don't keep hooking up with him just to be doing it. You're wasting your time. You're wasting his time. You're getting into feelings. You're going to get into a situation. You're going to get into a complication. Oh, it's complicated. We all know what that is. You just sleep together.
Yeah.
So if you want to not have that, don't do that. If you sleep with somebody, go, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let them go about their life and go about yours, especially if you're looking for marriage. Especially if you're looking for marriage. You need to understand to not keep sleeping with somebody and giving them away for free if it's not going to move toward marriage. And don't let these men tell you, oh yeah, babe, I'm gonna marry you. I'm gonna marry you. And 4 years later, 5 years later, 6 years later,
that's another conversation.
7 years later,
that's another TED Talk right there.
Child, you need a few months. You need a year for a real wedding and a few months for a courthouse wedding. And it just doesn't take that long for him to know, does it, baby?
So the moral of the story is that...
You ain't answer me.
Of course it is, baby.
Well, of course it is what?
What did you ask me?
I said, does it take that long for him to know that he wants to marry you?
No, I don't think so.
No, it doesn't.
I think the question becomes between you and the other person, and what is it that you both want, right? Much like these other subjects that we've touched on tonight, it's all about conversation, being on the same page, making sure that one another is okay
in the right direction, same direction.
And so you can apply that towards marriage, right? Hey, do we just want to go to the courthouse and get married and have a big celebration later?
Yep.
Do we really want to kind of work toward this big celebration? I'm going to save some, you're going to save some, your parents going to kick in some, whatever your situation is. And then you do that a year from now or to your earlier point. Or is it somewhere in between? But the point is, with all of these subjects, with all of these topics, be on the same page and understand that if you want to be married, maybe you don't act like you're married with someone before you get married.
It's that simple. It's that simple. All right. Ooh, I think I'm sleepy.
Well, that was cool. We should glad you guys could hang around for our podcast. We hope you got some value out of that. Let's see whether there's some comments about that.
Thank you so much. 31 years is a blessing. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Blessing it is.
It is.
And thank you for your comments about having great points. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys.
Yes.
If you enjoyed your time here, check out our website, Heath and Tracy Turner. We have got Foundational Legacy Living. It's a download at HeathandTracy.com. Not Turner. HeathandTracy.com. I am sleepy. We're here and there we share the techniques that you see us exemplifying. We've developed them after 30 years trial and error.
Trial and error. You've been married for a while. You learn some things over the years, and so everything that Tracy and I are doing, everything that we're sharing with you, download some of the things that we're developing is all around the culmination of all of those things packaged up for you.
Yeah, it's all about building a vision. Because if you don't build your vision, you're not going to meet your goals, the goals and that you want for your marriage and for your life together.
Right.
And that ends up being regret later on in life, right?
Nobody wants regret, right? So building a vision, is going to serve as a tremendous resource. It's going to eliminate that frustration, that help that you want to establish, the meaning and direction for your relationship. So we've got it all right there in the download.
You might be new in your relationship. You might need a little direction in completing a vision for your relationship. Or you just might be in a place where you're kind of stuck and you feel like you're going nowhere fast. Either way, if you complete this download that we have, steps to building your legacy, you'll establish that meaning and that direction and that vision for your union.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we
you want to close it out, babe?
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you guys. You could be anywhere else, but you were here this evening with us. We hope you got some value and enjoyed our conversation. Trace and I are here each week, so make sure if you have any comments or questions for us, we answer all of our YouTube comments and questions ourselves. So feel free to reach out if you have anything that you want to hit us up on. So just remember, guys, stay connected. Stay connected to God. Stay connected to your family. and stay connected to your spouse
or your significant other.
We love you guys. Have a great week.